So today I want to talk about Luffy, who is seemingly taking on the dreams of all the pirates he has defeated in the past, and probably all the ones that he will defeat as the story goes on. And at the end of the story, probably at the end of his life, he would have at least accomplished everyone's dream, every major pirate's dream which he met along his journey. And looking into it, it may seem like, okay, that's a bit weird, but when you think about inherited will and the fact that a lot of the people that Luffy's beat have become kind of irrelevant as the story has gone on, it's kind of like Luffy has continued their dream and taken it on with them throughout his journey so he can actually complete it in the end. Right now, if you're interested, stay tuned. But before we do get into it, like this video, subscribe. The button's still red, guys. I don't know what you're waiting for. And as always, for spoilers, if you're worried at all, check the description. Do this for all my videos. So let's get into it. Now, when we look back, and I'll probably just be starting from entering the Grand Line, because that's when the story really gets going. And from there, we meet Crocodile. And when you look at what Crocodile's about, back then, he wanted Pluton. That was a big thing of why he was in Alabasta all that time, why he did everything. He wanted an ancient weapon, Pluton, right? And at the end of the day, right, we fast forward to where we are in the story now, and it seems that Luffy's already kind of done that. Right, Luffy has gotten an ancient weapon, well, befriended an ancient weapon, 1 confirmed, 2 possibly, but he's already done that, right? He has Shirahoshi, who is Poseidon, and that's something that Crocodile was trying to do the entire arc. Of course, he thought it was an object and then he'd use it, and that's how it would be. But Luffy's already befriended Shirahoshi, and I'm sure if the situation arose and Luffy needed Shirahoshi's help as an ancient weapon, Shirahoshi would not refuse him. So Luffy's already done that. And then you go on to someone like Enel. It's a bit of a weird one, right? Because Enel, really what he wanted that whole time was to go to the land of endless birth, which is the moon. And he thought, right, by accomplishing this dream of his, that would make him complete. He'd be happy with that. But he gets to the moon in the cover story, and it seems that, it's not everything I thought it would be. But on the other hand, we have Luffy, who wants to conquer the sea instead of the earth. And, Luffy's someone who's going to be satisfied with that. I mean, Luffy's satisfied with dying even now, because, he says that in the very first episode, or I think maybe like the 2nd chapter, that, if he dies now, he's cool with it. At least he tried. So we obviously know that Luffy will actually do it better than Enel would. And then you have someone like Moria, who is basically, Luffy's accomplishing what Moria wants in this arc, right? Taking down Kaido, getting that revenge. Moria, of course, wants to kill Kaido. Will Luffy kill Kaido? Who will kill Kaido? That's for another video, another debate. Will Kaido even die? Who knows? But taking down Kaido at the very least, that's something Luffy seems to be doing in this arc, right? So it's kind of like he's taken that from Moria upon himself and he's going with it. And then we get to someone like Hordy Jones, and I think I'm going to talk about Hordy Jones, Arlong, and maybe a bit of Jinbei in general, just the fishmen. And what they really want is, of course, Hordy Jones was in the darker side of it, but what they really want at the end of the day is for fishmen to just be able to live freely, right? Whether, fishmen come up to the sea, or, whether they just live wherever they do, at the end of the day, a lot of what fishmen want is just to live freely, no threats of being harmed or whatever. And Luffy is helping do that at the same time. So Luffy has kind of inherited that from both Arlong and Hordy Jones. It's just he's kind of left the dark side out of it. And he does that even for stuff we've talked about with Crocodile. Crocodile was looking to use that for not very great stuff, but obviously Luffy's a bit different. So even when he does use ancient weapons, if he does in the story, it won't be for the same reason that Crocodile wanted it. Crocodile wanted to blow Whitebeard to bits, so it's a bit different. And then we go on to Doffy, who is the last in this category. And Doffy really wanted, at the end of the day, he wanted to pull the Celestial Dragons down from their pedestals, right? He wanted to stick it to them like, yo, finally, you guys thought you were all that, but you're not. really that's what he wanted, and Luffy's gonna do that in the end, right? Luffy already punched the hell out of one, so in the end of the day, we know Luffy's gonna take down the Celestial Dragons, and that's gonna be part of the story. So Luffy kind of inherited that from Doflamingo and moved on in his journey. But then we get to the Yonko, and I think the Yonko is a bit different, right? Because I do think the same thing we've seen will go on there, but I think when we get to the Yonko, it changes slightly, because I think a very big part of what happens with the Yonko is definitely going to be dreams, but what's going to be different is that the Yonko will actually not entrust their dreams to Luffy, right? I don't think it's definitely going to be like, Luffy, I entrust my dreams and my ambitions to you. Succeed where I failed. You can do it. I don't think he's going to have a heart-to-heart like that with the Yonko, but I think that at the very least, subconsciously, they'll recognize that the dream they're trying to fulfill, Luffy's the one who will fulfill it. But they themselves will also accomplish their goals, but not nearly to the extent that they wanted, which Luffy will then go on to do, right? And I think Luffy doing this will kind of prove, that he is a great pirate, right? That he is as great as he set out to be, because he would have done something the Yonko can't. And number one is, before we get into what he will do, let's talk about what he couldn't do, and that is with Whitebeard, who kind of entrusted saving Ace to Luffy by backing him up as much as he did. And when he flopped, he saved Luffy at the end and tried to save the rest of his crew, which for the most part did work. Just not all of them survived. But Whitebeard entrusted Luffy, and Luffy failed. And I think that's really important, because again, that whole part of the story was just showing Luffy how unprepared he was. So even back then, he was not prepared to take on the dreams of the Yonko. I mean, maybe of someone, all these other pirates, Moria, Crocodile, but of the Yonko, that was too big for him at the time. But now it's a bit different. And I think this is probably how, we will kind of go through all the Yonko and take them down, is that when they get taken down, I think that we will have this moment, like they will realize. So personally, I think at the end of Big Mom's story, Big Mom's most likely going to retire. Maybe she dies, maybe she doesn't. Before she does, she will kind of entrust Luffy to having this tea party where everyone's on the same level, right? She has accomplished that in part by creating Totland, but Luffy will do it with the whole world, like Big Mom set out to do at the start. And so at some point, I think Big Mom will recognize, I'm definitely, like I said before, she's not going to be like, Luffy, go on, complete my dream. Definitely that will not happen. But I think she will recognize that Luffy has this ability to draw people to him. He has this ability to help, to have fun with others, to have these banquets, to have fun, and for everyone to really be equals, right? So I think then she will entrust it to him. I think then she retires after taking so many L's. Maybe she dies, maybe she doesn't, but that's Big Mom out, and she would have entrusted it to Luffy, because that's what Luffy will kind of do by the end of the story. And then we have Kaido, and Kaido's dream is more about just dying, and dying in a great way, because we have that quote where he says dying completes a man's life or person's life, and it's more about dying being a culmination, or that really moment that brings everything about the way you lived all together in that one great, singular great moment, right? Kind of like Whitebeard, right? When we look at Whitebeard and the narrator's telling us how many times he got stabbed and shot, and his heart condition and how old he was, and the fact that nothing ever hit his back, and the fact that he died standing, right? He died being the symbol of the man he lived his life as, right? Someone who you can depend on. No scratches on his back. So Kaido wants that, right? The culmination of the way you die being everything about the way you lived. And Luffy will get that. But Kaido, I think, I definitely think that Kaido at some point will die, but I think Kaido will get that in a smaller part of it, right? Not nearly as much as he wanted to, and not nearly as much as Luffy will whenever he dies. Not sure when he'll die. That's another video in itself. And then we have Blackbeard and Shanks. Now Blackbeard's a bit easier. We know a lot of what Blackbeard wants involves him being the ruler, leading the show of everything and everyone. And you know, Luffy, at the end of the day, that will be kind of what he does, but not exactly. It's one of those ways Luffy is not trying to do that, but unintentionally he will, right? When Rayleigh asks him, you know, can you conquer such a sea? Luffy's like, I'm not trying to conquer that sea, I'm just trying to be free, right? But in being free, he will conquer the sea, right? It's inadvertently. Luffy will have that kind of position where after, you know, being involved with Celestial Dragons, Pirate King and everything, Luffy will have that kind of reputation and importance where if Luffy says something, things will happen. But Luffy will never actually use that power in any way. He just will do whatever he wants, go on his adventures and whatnot. So Luffy will kind of accomplish Blackbeard's dream, but he just won't use it the same way. Like we were saying back then with Crocodile and Moria and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Luffy will do it, and Blackbeard will notice. At some point, Blackbeard will realize that Luffy is this guy. Same thing with Kaido. He realizes that, I don't know, maybe he's Joy Boy or something like that. You know, he has what it takes. I mean, Kaido already had this premonition, right? Are you going to be as great as those guys? He already had that. So he's on his way there. You can see how this is building. I'm sure you can see it now. And then we have Shanks. Now, we don't know what Shanks is about. And I made a video speculating about what will happen when Luffy meets Shanks. Go watch that. And I was talking about the fact that there may be a quest, maybe something going on there in which Shanks tried to do something and Luffy will be the one to finally accomplish that where Shanks failed. And that will kind of prove that Luffy has surpassed Shanks, is just as good and has surpassed Shanks without actually having a serious all-out fight between the two. I do think they will still fight or clash, but I don't think it'll be a serious all-out, all the way to the end thing. And I think that will consolidate it. And I think at some point, Shanks will realize that, hey, you know, I bet on this kid and he's the one. And maybe there we'll have a moment where Shanks actually literally says, I'm entrusting this to you. But with the other Yonko, I don't think that will happen. But guys, this has just been my video of the way Luffy has been taking on everyone's dreams, everyone's ambitions, and is going to kind of see them through to the end. And I think it's just a very interesting way that the story's been built like this, that Luffy is the one who, it seems everyone that he's beaten, he will, you know, accomplish their ambitions and dreams. But let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think. Are the other characters, are there other minor characters who you think it applies to as well? Do you think that what I'm saying is not really gonna happen? The Yonko will never recognize him and will go down just like that. But let me know any and all thoughts down below. As always, guys, please like this video if you like the video, subscribe for more content like this. If you know someone who needs to hear the truth about ambitions, Luffy taking them on, and dreams being trusted to him, share this video with them. If you have time, watch one more videos. And if not, thank you for watching this video to the end, guys. This is King KZ, and I'll see you in the next one.